Tom, 2-2 draw today. Point at the death. Well deserved as well. What was your take on it?
Frustration, really. I just felt that we had to get. We were in a winning position. We were at home. They're a good side. Don't get me wrong, but I felt at that point. I don't know how long was into the second half when they scored. 15 minutes or so was it? I don't know. But I felt we looked reasonably comfortable in terms of dealing with their attacking threat, and then we made a mistake for the goal. Got them back into it, and then we made another mistake, and suddenly we're staring down the barrel. In a game where I felt that shouldn't have been the case. So that's the huge negative, that we've got ourselves in a losing position from a winning position without, in my view, that needing to be the case. And then the positive bit is that we did battle back, and we scored the goal, and the draw was the least I felt we deserved. But as I say, they're a good side. They're always going to exploit errors, and that's what they did. We made 2 errors, 2 goals, and and from a position, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we were comfortable, but I just felt a reasonable confidence that we could have gone on to win the game, and then, as I say, 2 mistakes, games flipped round, and we had to battle back, and that's the good bit, was the battling back and scoring at the death. Gives you a little bit of sort of euphoria, a little bit of you finishing the game on a bit of a high. You hope will is sort of the better end of it in terms of going into your next game. So we've just got to keep moving forward and focus on Wednesday now, and see what we can get at Tottenham.
Yeah, let's focus on the equaliser, because absolutely worldy of a cross from Luke Pardo for Will Fletcher, and can't really ask for much more of a player coming in on his debut, could you?
No, and quite difficult situations, because by the time he came on, or went, not long after he came on, they were sort of sitting in quite a deep block and quite hard to sort of create things. But yeah, the quality of the cross, as you say, was exceptional, and I was probably a little bit frustrated about that. The quality of our delivery and set pieces was not perhaps as good as it often is, and their goalkeeper contributed to that, because I thought he did really well for them in coming to get a lot of things and taking the pressure off them. But perhaps on our side, delivery could have been a bit better.
Mm-hmm. Overall, started a bit shakily. Hendon did start brightly, didn't they? But once you had that chance with Shaq with the lob, it seemed to assert your dominance on the first half. You've got the tactics on as well.
Well, we just felt, we obviously weren't going to deviate too much from how we set up against Bracknell. And as you say, it was a bit annoying, because that first 10 minutes I felt we were a bit soft and just not properly focused, and they started to better. But then, we managed to get ourselves sort of switched back on a bit, and then felt for the rest of the first half we were reasonably good. We scored the goal. As I say, we were in a reasonably sort of comfortable position, and then we made 2 errors. But I'm getting more and more confident about the group. I feel that it's much closer to what I want it to be and what I expect, and we've just got to really stick together now and not let the fact that we've missed out on 3 points at home damage us too much in terms of morale, and just really focus on coming out all guns blazing on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. At 1-1, I think their number 8, who had already been booked, then commits another foul on Jack Dixon. Pretty cynical, wasn't it? I mean, were you surprised not to see a second yellow for him?
Yeah, I think the referee sort of he seemed like a nice chap, but he didn't have a very good day. I don't think. He was quite erratic in his decision making, or very erratic in his decision making. I mean, he set a bit of a difficult sort of standard for himself, because he booked Corby in the first half for sort of an innocuous tackle on a halfway line, and I thought, well, that's never a yellow card, and then he's given a yellow card. So then obviously every tackle pretty much after that, people are calling for yellow cards, and he just seemed to get very confused and as I say, erratic, and there were yellow cards being thrown around like confetti. And as soon as a referee sort of losing control of what he's doing, you're probably going to end up with 2 yellows somewhere across the line, because there was so many people getting them. So it wasn't really a surprise. It was just a question of who was going to get the second yellow. I thought the lad was a bit unlucky when it actually happened, but as you say, perhaps it could have happened before. But it's just a shame, because it's one of those games. I didn't think there was any malice at all, but the referee just started giving yellow cards for innocuous stuff, and once he started, he has to sort of carry on. And then when he doesn't carry on, everyone gets annoyed because they can't really understand what's happening, so then you get a bit of dissent. So it's just a game, and referees are entitled to have them, where he's had a very difficult day, and everyone watching can see what's happened.
Mm-hmm. Just on that point, the goal scorer for them, his first yellow, very poor tackle on Jack Dixon, wasn't it? From behind, made contact studs on the calf. Could that have been a red card?
Yeah, I think so. But again, one where perhaps you'd be a bit disappointed if you got a red your side. But bearing in mind how innocuous challenges were getting yellow cards, you wouldn't have been at all surprised if he'd given a red for that. But just no disrespect to him. Everyone's entitled. Players have bad games, referees have bad games. Seemed like a nice chap. At least he spoke to people in a reasonable fashion. I'm sure he'll reflect on it and realise that he's had a very bad day, and hopefully he'll learn from it. But it was just, I think it caused difficulties on both sides, because like I say, there was then quite a bit of dissent and niggly stuff, and it was really caused by the inconsistency and erratic nature of the refereeing.
Okay, 4 points in 2 games brings you into Totton on Wednesday. What do you make of them?
They're a very good side. They're clearly very ambitious. You can tell that they're trying to really progress in terms of the squad that they're compiling. They're not settling for anything. They're just gonna keep moving forward, I would imagine, or that's their intention. They're gonna keep acquiring players. They're gonna try and get more and more powerful. It's their first season in the league, and they're only gonna get better and better and better. So when they've got the resources and that pretty much anyone in the league is jealous of, but you just have to, they seem like a really well-run club, got a good manager, good players, so it's just a big challenge. But we can't afford to be giving points to anyone. We can't afford to sort of give up any opportunity to get points, so we just have to have a real belief in what we've got at the moment, and and try and see if we can bring back some points, because only drawing a game today just makes it that little bit more essential, really, not to pick something up midweek. And we've got games in hand on some sides, and some sides aren't playing this midweek, so, and I think there may be, the weather's not, I don't think the weather's great, so obviously there may be a question mark about our game, but there may be other games that are meant to be played that don't get played. So you just got to sort of try and get some points in the bag to give yourself an even, to give the league table an even more healthy look.
You spoke about Tottenham's acquisitions, one of whom is Tony Lee, a player extremely well, of course.
Yeah, obviously on the basis that he'd remained at Poole, we would now have to play against him at all from now to the end of the season. Now he goes to a team that we haven't played at all, so we've got to face him twice. But he's a great striker. I'm absolutely amazed that Poole have let him go. I feel that he's one of the, if not the best striker in the league. They've got themselves a brilliant player. So we have to be hugely aware, and will be hugely aware of the threat that he poses. Talking about it and doing it, sometimes different things, but I know him very well. I've got a lot of affection for him. I know, I spoke to him quite a few times, in the build up to him leaving Poole. And obviously it's ended sort of badly for him there, and he felt he was in a position where he was so sort of unhappy he had to leave, and as I say, I'm amazed really, but it hasn't helped us too much because, as you say, now we've got to face him twice. But yeah, we've got. I thought Ed and Specci were very good again today. So, you know, we have to tackle these things head on.
No worries. One omission from the squad that faced Bracknell in Harvey Hughes today. Was he injured or just tackled?
No, we just Harvey's just been very unlucky in that. I feel Ollie Hayes has been doing really well, and so excuse me. So Harvey's opportunities have been limited. You know, hasn't really had even much time coming off the bench. So he's taken the opportunity to play for Dorchester today, assuming their game was on, and then we'll sort of just review it game by game. But you know, he's been really good in training. He's looked really bright, so I'm keen to give him an opportunity at some point. But where we've been doing a bit better lately, and Ollie in particular has been doing well, his opportunities have been limited. So it just made sense for him to go to Dorchester and get some game time, bit of confidence, and therefore, as and when we do need him, then he's going to be in a better place.
Okay, is that a freshly arranged dual reg deal then?
Yeah, we only arranged it in readiness for today's game, so he could have a game today, and then, you know, I'll have a conversation with him. I hope their game was on. You know, I assume it was, because I think he would have probably told me if it hadn't been. But hopefully, he got minutes, and then we'll just review things in readiness for Wednesday. But it's still very much, you know, part of our plans between now and the end of the season.
Fantastic. And no fresh injuries? No players injured aside from
No,
Nick?
I don't think so. I mean, I just went into the change rooms briefly and spoke to the players. Since then, I've been in there, but there wasn't anything obvious that I saw. Certainly, the substitutions we made weren't due to injury. So I would hope that we're at full strength on Wednesday with Harvey into the mix as well.
Fantastic.
All right.